And welcome to the channel. For those of you new, my name is Dave and I work in financial services. And these videos are mixed and journey towards financial freedom, financial well-being, financial products so you, like me, can reach your goals sometime in the future. Now let's get into the latest video. My individual savings account for May 2025. Now it's not to boast or brag, say look at me, but to give people hope and encouragement. If I can build a sizable portfolio of six figures, you can too. If you create a plan, invest on a regular basis within a tax offer. So what's the aim of the portfolio? Well, we're looking at annual return 10%. For this year, we're looking at dividends of £5,000 and a year-end fund valuation of around about £153,000. So how have we done during the month? Well, we're at 136,414 at the start of the month. End of the month, 145,627. So a profit of £9,213 a month. So an excellent month. Year to date, we're up 12.08%. Now we made contributions of £350, so tax year to date, a small amount of £450, but we will increase that moving forwards. Our platform provider charges fees of just over £17 based upon a percentage of our portfolio. And where exactly is the funds held? Well, 61.67% is in UK and Europe. 28% is in USA and Americas, and 10% is in Asia and emerging markets. Now let's look at the dividend received during the month. Now a very nice month. Across our shares, we've got a yield, shall we say, of 5.45%. So our dividends we received, Lloyds the Banking Group, £425, reinvested 540 new shares. Phoenix Group, the pension provider, £175, 27 new shares. It's got a yield around about 10%. Aviva, the insurance company, a yield around about 6%, gave us £451, 72 new shares. And our passive ventures tracker fund gave us £467, reinvested in accumulation units. So the price increased of the fund. So across the funds, we received just over £1,500. Now year to date, £2,142, slightly ahead of expectations, but it just goes to show we'll have good months, we'll have bad months, but our best month to date. And we will have a very good month, shall we say, in June from Pacific companies. Now there are own personal opinions. If you like the videos, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Now let's look at the funds on the shares we hold within the portfolio. They're all considered long-term buys. We've got no reason to go to any funds in the short term. It's not, shall we say, trading portfolio, it's a long-term buy and hold portfolio. At the moment we own 10 in funds. Thankfully all 10 are in profit just. But it makes up roughly 50% of the portfolio. We've got £70,000 in the fund, of which 44% is in the FTSE 100, the top UK listed companies in the UK, and 6% in the FTSE 250. Now our largest holding is Lloyds Banking Group. Thanks to the dividend received, we now own nearly 21,000 shares, £16,000, 11% of our portfolio. Very cash rich, very good results. Is it affected, shall we say, by the latest, shall we say, car or credit card theme? But it was done for a reason. Everyone needs banking. We own L&G, 5,158 shares, nearly £13,000, 9%. It will give us a nice dividend at the start of June, but again, a nice yield around about 8%. We own Aviva, another insurance company. As we found out the month, we now own nearly 2,000 shares, £12,000, 8% of our portfolio. We own NatWest, the banking group, 1,261 shares, £6,500, 4.5% of our portfolio. The shackles are finally off, the government no longer owns the state, and it was one of the best performing shares last year, up 75%. Who knows what will happen moving forwards, as shall we say, some kind of free reign, but shall we say, back in profit, dividend increase, but it just goes to show we bought for a reason, it's now hopefully back in favour. We own Barclays, 1,687 shares, £5,500, 4% of our portfolio, a yield around about 4-5%. And away from the UK banks, we own HSBC, 551 shares, nearly £5,000, 3% of our portfolio. Has struggled, shall we say, what's happened, shall we, in Asia, but it's a conglomerate. It's worldwide basis. But it does pay a nice quarter dividend, and it will pay a nice dividend at the end of June. Now, away from the banks, we own AJ Bell, our platform provider. 983 shares, nearly £5,000, 3% of our portfolio. What we see is a growth company. Clients are growing, assets under management growing. So it's got great platforms, great dividends. It's very cash rich, so we say, but it is expanding. We own Phoenix Group, the pension provider. Owns a numerous companies, shall we say, but 666 shares. £4,000, 3% of our portfolio, but a yield of 10%. Now we own Card Factory. Nearly 4,000 shares. Good results recently. It will pay a nice increased dividend at the end of June, but £3,500, 2.5% of our portfolio. Very cash rich, shall we say. Did struggle during COVID because of, shall we say, banking governance, but it's making a profit. It's expanding high street, but unfortunately it struggled with its online presence. We own Sainsbury's. 923 shares, £2,600, nearly 2% of our portfolio. Profits will increase weekly, dividends increase, but it isn't some kind of price war, shall we say, only a price match. But everyone needs food. But it was done, shall we say, for a reason. Okay? But it is going some kind of restructuring program. Now we've got 10 shares, predominantly in financial shares, what we know about, but they're all, shall we say, long-term players. We've got no reason to sell any of the shares in the future. Remember, if you like the videos, smash the button, subscribe to the channel, look at my blog, moneymonted.co.uk, and let's look at the funds we hold within the portfolio. At the moment, we own 50% roughly of the portfolio in funds. 9 funds, 5 in profit, 4 in loss, nearly £73,000. Our largest funding, shall we say, is a passive venture fund, nearly £25,000. 70% of the portfolio. It was done, shall we say, because we're UK based. Just switch off, gives a nice return, around about 8-9% last few years. We own an LNG technology fund. Okay. £16,000, 11% of our portfolio. Very cash rich, shall we say. Has been a good return recently because of Trump tariffs, but it was paying a small yield. But the tech sector has been great the past few years. We own, shall we say, a Fidelity World Index fund. Again, around about £17,000. Very low fees, 0.12%. Owned around about 1,400 shares, but 12% of the portfolio. And we did top up during the month. Slight holding. Some funds that have struggled recently is a Fidelity China fund. £2,500, 2% of portfolio. And 2 emerging market funds. One of £1,300, second of £200, but makes up around about 0.9% each in the portfolio. Hopefully going to get back in profit, and when they do, we will invest in those smaller funds to reduce fees. Okay, but we're not going to sell at a loss. One fund that has struggled though is a Russia fund. We did put £500 in. It went up to £60 plus, so a nice profit 20%. It struggled ever since the Russia-Ukraine conflict. It's now worth £242, but frankly it makes up 0.17% of our portfolio. We're not prepared to let a loss, but it just goes to show, obviously what's happened was out of control. Okay, but it was in profit until, shall we say, unfortunate events happened. Now, 2 funds with ring fence. The reason is an S&P 500 fund. We put 3,000 in. It's now worth 3,245, but it makes up 2.3% of the portfolio. It was done with ring fence, but we didn't want to add it to our existing holdings. And finally, we own an old world index share fund. We put 5,000 in. It's now worth nearly 5.8, but 4% of our portfolio. But it was done again to ring fence funds. We didn't want to funds, but a collection of funds. We are trying to simplify them into more passive funds, shall we say. But the idea was we were solely UK based when we started portfolio, but now it's about 50%. But it just goes to show, if you invest on a regular basis, we put normally £250 a month. Okay, we will increase it in future, but it just goes to show, if you can build a salary portfolio, you can do it too. If you invest on a regular basis, reinvest all dividends, get into the habit, shall we say, but think long term. It's not a get rich quick, but you can get there if you follow some simple steps. If I can do it, you can do it. See you in the next video. Subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.